The day I finally felt something again was the day I slammed a door in my husband's face and smiled for the first time in 5 months. My name is Natalie. I'm 29. And 6 months ago, I had the life I'd always pictured, a husband I adored, a house we'd picked out together, and a plan to start a family before I turned 30. Daniel and I had been together for 6 years, married for 3. We weren't perfect, but we were solid, or so I thought. We'd been trying to get pregnant for almost a year. Every month felt like a small funeral. When we finally went to the specialist, the news hit us like a truck. Low egg reserve on my side, low motility on his. The doctor said natural conception was unlikely. IVF was our best option. Expensive, exhausting, and not a guarantee. I cried in the car for 40 minutes. Daniel sat next to me and said nothing. He stared out the window the whole drive home. After that, he went quiet. Not sad, quiet. Cold quiet. He stopped reaching for my hand. He stopped asking how I was doing. He worked late every night for 3 weeks. I told myself he was grieving differently. I gave him room. Then one Sunday morning, while I was making coffee, he walked into the kitchen and said he had something to tell me. He'd been seeing someone, a colleague he'd known for years. It had started at a work retreat and had been going on for 2 months. 2 months. I'd been grieving our fertility news while he was with someone else. I dropped the mug. It shattered on the tile. He didn't move to help me clean it up. He left that same afternoon. I noticed he'd already moved his passport and his watches out of the drawer days before. He'd been planning this. I stopped functioning. I called in sick to work until they stopped calling back. I ordered delivery. I never ate. I let the mail pile up inside the front door until I couldn't open it all the way. 3 weeks later, my brother drove 4 hours to my house because I hadn't answered my phone in 9 days. He knocked until I opened the door. The moment I saw his face, I knew something was wrong. Our mother had been in the hospital for 5 days. A stroke. She passed before I got there. I stood at that funeral like a mannequin. She was only 61. She'd been my closest friend. I flew home, sat on the floor of my kitchen and didn't move for 2 months. I lost my job. I ate crackers for dinner. There was a week I don't remember clearly at all. Then my mother's estate lawyer called. She'd inherited a significant piece of property from her own father years ago, commercial real estate that had quietly tripled in value. Stocks she'd held since the 90s. The total estate came to $6.4 million. I was the sole beneficiary. I told nobody. 11 days later, Daniel knocked on my door. He was holding wine and wearing the jacket I used to love on him. He said he'd heard about my mother. Said he'd heard about the estate too. Said he'd been doing a lot of thinking and that we owed it to ourselves to try again, that we could finally afford the IVF, that we could still have everything. I looked at this man who left while I was still crying, who missed my mother's funeral, who came back only after someone told him about the money. I let him finish talking, then I said, "You didn't leave because of the fertility results. You left because you were already gone. The difference between us now is that I finally am too." I closed the door. Monday morning, I hired the most expensive family attorney in the city. The divorce was filed by noon.